the second class of 2017, as they present to you, please don't be afraid of the dark. Please silence your cell phones. It's embarrassing when they go off with lights up. We don't need that. Please have a good time tonight. And watch out for the creeper. And now it's our pleasure to introduce class of 2017's production of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Can't see a thing in this foul weather. It's you, Mrs. Bones.
Well, who did you think it was?
In this house, it could be anyone.
Well, it's not just anyone, it's me.
So I see.
What are you looking at?
I thought I heard a car.
You did hear a car.
Well, they're not supposed to be here until tomorrow.
What does it matter?
Which one will it be, I wonder?
We'll know soon enough.
Aren't you going to get the door?
That's your job, not mine. How did these manuscripts get on the floor?
How should I know?
There it is again.
I'll see who it is.
Someone's been tracking mud in on my floor.
Hi, I'm Kid Whittle.
Yes, miss, if you'll follow me. The sitting room, ma'am.
Thank you.
Nasty night, ma'am.
You won't get an argument from me.
Did I hear correctly? You're Miss Whittle.
Kit Whittle.
We weren't expecting you until tomorrow.
Oh, the letter I got from my attorney told me I should be arriving tonight.
Let me take your coat. I'll hang it to dry it up.
And your name is?
Skull, ma'am.
Skull. How's
Yes.
that?
It's a peculiar name, I admit. But still, there it is. Your late cousin liked it. Sometimes I think that's why he hired me.
You mean because he was a mystery writer?
Make yourself comfortable, Miss Whittle.
Don't mind if I do.
You're a writer too, aren't you, Miss Whittle?
This is the housekeeper, Mrs. Bones.
Skull and bones?
As Skull said, there it is.
Nice place.
Your late cousin seemed to like it. He was very happy here, or as happy as he could be, under the circumstances.
There are creaks and moans. It's an old house.
I can see that. Oh, waitress, by the way.
I beg your pardon.
I'm a waitress, not a writer.
Oh, well then I misunderstood. I thought your cousin said writer.
Waitress, writer, housekeeper. We're all human beings. That's what I like to say. I hustle trays down at the fish shanty in Manhattan. It's trendy. No tables. No reservations. No exceptions.
If you say so, ma'am.
Don't mind admitting I'm excited about being here. I've heard about this place, of course. The shadows. Family gossip.
Gossip?
Cousin Sebastian may have been a distant relative, but he was well known. Tongues wag. He may have been a recluse, but I always knew we were related. You know, Mrs. Bones, when people stare at me, I start to get a little nervous. Makes me feel like there's purple drool on my chin. Something wrong?
I'll get a broom and dustpan.
Broom? Dustpan?
Someone tracked mud in on the floor
Oh, that was me.
before you arrived.
Oh. Company. It's Murder. A new thriller by Sebastian Sly.
Good evening.
Good evening, miss.
I'm Miss Cooper.
Yes, miss, if you'll follow me. The sitting room, Miss Cooper.
Hello, I'm Lilac Cooper.
I'm Kit Whittle.
I think we're distant cousins.
Yeah, you must have gotten the same letter I did.
From the lawyer, Gloria Parr.
That's her name.
Nice to meet you, kid.
Same to you.
I'll get your luggage from the car.
Oh, you'll be drenched.
I'll take an umbrella.
Were you as surprised as I was?
Like they say, you could have knocked me over with a feather.
You ever meet Sebastian Sly?
Never.
Same here.
I'm hoping we're in the will for a bundle.
Why pay attention to us now? After all this time.
Let's face it, Lilac. Cousin Sebastian was weird. Have you seen any of his plays?
No.
I saw one once, a community theater group. It was all about some lady who thought she was a vampire.
Vampire?
She wasn't a vampire.
Good.
She was a zombie.
Cousin Sebastian had some imagination.
Maybe a little too much. You seen this place? If a breath of fresh air got in, it would choke.
I didn't even know Sebastian had died until I got the letter.
It was sudden, very sudden.
This is Mrs. Bones, the housekeeper.
Have you been housekeeper long, Mrs. Bones?
Long enough. Sebastian Sly loved this house. It was in his blood. He said that he'd never sell the shadows. If either of you inherit the place, I trust you'll feel the same.
It's a lovely house.
Muddy footprints.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I wiped my feet on the mat when I came in.
She means before we got here.
Oh,
I kept the handkerchief. I thought you might want it as a memento.
handkerchief?
The last years of your cousin's life, he took to wearing a handkerchief.
Well, there's nothing uncommon about wearing a handkerchief.
Over your face.
Oh.
He became quite eccentric, more than usual. He said he grew sick of people and hypocrisy. That's him in the picture, standing in front of the asylum.
I've always wanted to know what Cousin Sebastian looked like, but that doesn't help much.
Are there any pictures of him without the handkerchief over his face?
I've never seen any.
I don't get it. Why would somebody want to wear a handkerchief over their face?
He said he wanted to put a veil between himself and the world.
Huh, gives me gooseflesh.
Once he retired due to the shadows, he never left. He always stayed in his room. He wore that handkerchief over his face, and even when he took his meals.
Kinky.
Those strange plays he wrote must have affected him.
The other way around, he wrote strange plays for a good reason. He was strange.
Yeah, I never really thought of it that way.
Would you like to see your rooms now?
Mrs. Bones was just telling us that Cousin Sebastian wore a veil over his face.
We never mentioned it. He had a temper.
Violent temper.
Are there other relatives arriving?
Mrs. Parr told me that you were the only two relatives.
So, we're the only people here?
No, there are others. Velma Cringe, an old actress. She starred in many of your cousin's plays. She was an excellent screamer, down on her luck.
And Miss Winkler.
Who's Miss Winkler?
Miranda Winkler, your late cousin's secretary.
Who can that be? Miss Parr told us that you'd be arriving tomorrow.
Oh, my letter said I should arrive tonight, around 10.
That's what mine said. And therefore, it will be necessary for you to arrive to the shadows at approximately 10 o'clock.
I even parked down the road for half an hour. I didn't want to be early. The letter sounded so precise.
Skull!
I'm going.
I couldn't help but notice the door. There was no bell to ring.
Your cousin refused to install one. It was a miracle that he allowed the telephone. He absolutely refused to have a push button. Television was out of the question, and that radio's over 50 years old.
Maybe he liked to listen to old-time radio.
And on that table are some of his play scripts. He was working on a new one at the time of his death.
Oh, that's interesting. What was it called?
He called it When Apples Bleed.
Catchy title.
Sorry I asked.
So am I.
You shouldn't push your way in.
I can't help that.
I tell you, no one unexpected has come into the house.
You don't know him like I do. He can slip through the crack in the Venetian blind. Sorry to disturb you folks. I ain't got no choice.
Don't mind us. Who are you?
My name's Rhonda, but everybody calls me Ralph. In my line of work, last names ain't important. He got out again, Mrs. Bones. Did you see anything of him?
She must mean the creeper.
The creeper?
He's a patient here at the shadows.
A patient? Here?
What kind of patient?
I'm afraid you don't understand. At one point in time, this house and the asylum were part of the same property, and they were known as the Shadows, and they still are.
Maybe I'm missing something. What asylum are you talking about?
Right across the field, miss. If it was daylight, you'd see it clear enough. Big ugly place with 7 gables.
It's a private institution for the dangerously insane.
Most of our guests are quiet enough, but not him, not the creeper, the tricky rascal. You have to watch him day and night.
A patient has escaped? That's what you're saying?
See, the creeper has a fondness for this place. Mr. Sly used to invite him over for a visit now and then. The doctor thought it would be good therapy for him.
The creeper and your cousin got on famously, well, until...
Don't stop now.
Until what?
I've said enough.
What she's trying to say is this. The creeper turned vicious, tried to kill Sebastian Sly with his bare hands. He has the strength of 10 men, and when he
I don't think I want to hear anymore!
Look what you've done. You've upset Miss Cooper.
she'd be more upset if she met up with the creeper.
That's enough, Ralph.
Nonsense.
I know his tricks.
You've informed the police, of course.
Of course.
Please hurry and catch him.
I can assure you, Miss Cooper, that the creeper is not in this house.
Maybe not, but I'd better have a look around.
All the doors and windows are locked at night.
That wouldn't stop him. He can climb up and down the walls like a bug, open windows and doors like he's a magician.
Where are you going?
I'm going to make certain the front door is bolted.
Keep alert. If you see anything of the creeper, give the asylum a call. You've got the number. I'm gonna go take a look in the garden. He likes to hide in shrubbery.
Welcome to the shadows.
Some floor show.
Ralph likes to scare people.
Well, she's good at it.
May I get you something? How about something warm to drink before retiring?
I've lost my appetite.
Miss Whittle?
No thanks. Not unless you've got a large can of bug off for the creeper.
That's not funny.
This isn't exactly my idea of a fun place.
The bolt and chain is on the front door. It would take a bull elephant to break it down. Don't take Ralph seriously. She's inclined to exaggerate.
So there's nothing to worry about?
Nothing. I'll show you to your rooms and finish with the locking up.
He's left us in the dark! Oh, I hope Skull is right. There's nothing to worry about.
Why couldn't I be related to a dentist?
It's only me, Miss Winkler.
You overslept, Miss Winkler. You missed breakfast.
I took a sleeping pill last evening. I suspect it was too powerful for my frail constitution.
I'll fix you something.
I'm not hungry. You know I have the appetite of a wounded bird. Some roast of tea would be nice.
Are you coming in, or are you going to sulk in the hallway?
I don't like to intrude.
You know, Miss Winkler, you really ought to get over your shyness, creeping about like a mouse.
Please don't say mouse. I don't sulk. It's just that I don't like to intrude.
Is that all you want, Rosehip?
1 cup, please. No cream or sugar. I'll be in the library. I like the library. It's quiet.
No sign of Miss Parr?
I wasn't looking for Miss Parr. The weather, it's still stormy. Always is this time of year.
I take it you like living here at the shadows?
I liked working for your cousin.
I was hoping to meet Miss Winkler or Miss Cringe at breakfast.
Miss Cringe always has breakfast in her room. She thinks she's a Broadway star. And while Miss Winkler, she overslept. She's in the library. May I get you something?
Nothing more for me, thanks.
Boy, Cousin Sebastian certainly had a Fright Night library. Every volume deals with something creepy.
Really, Miss Whittle, you might show more respect. It's a valuable library. Your cousin used it in his work. Some of those books are irreplaceable.
So Miss Winkler told me.
You met Miss Winkler?
She's cataloging.
At the request of the insurance people, I suggest that you don't lose that book. I can tell by the cover it's the one dealing with poisons.
She's right. Deadly doses.
I don't know how you feel about it, kid, but I can't wait to leave the shadows. I didn't sleep at all last night. Kept thinking about the creeper.
Same here.
The house creaks and groans. I thought I heard somebody outside my room, then outside on the stairs, and outside my window.
So did I, but I didn't do anything to check it out. I'm a coward in good standing.
I wonder how much we're going to get from this place.
I'm not certain we're gonna get anything, but if I get a tidy sum, I know where it's going.
Where?
I'm gonna open up my own restaurant. I've been a waitress long enough. My own place. It's always been my dream. I'll call it the Clamshell, and I'll serve the best pizza in town.
We think alike. I intend to open my own shop. I'm gonna call it the Beauty Spot. I'm tired of standing on my feet 10 hours a day. Tint and comb, wash and rinse.
Oh, so you're a beautician. I didn't know.
No reason why you should. What if we end up with this place?
That's a depressing thought. We could always sell it.
I don't think it would bring in much. Especially with the other shadows across the field.
You mean the funny farm?
Skull was telling me that the guests there are not your average everyday neurotics.
Witness the creeper.
That'd make for a good play title. Witness the Creeper.
How odd you should say that. I hope I'm not intruding. It's only me.
This is Miranda Winkler.
Oh, nice to meet you, Miss Winkler.
I'm sorry I wasn't down for breakfast. Ever since your cousin was cremated, I haven't slept well.
Sebastian was cremated?
Would you like to see the urn?
No.
Miss Whittle?
No thanks, I'll take a rain check. You seen one urn and you seen them all.
It's a nice urn. Chinese porcelain. Your cousin used that title.
Chinese porcelain?
No, witness the creeper. I'm sure it's here somewhere.
Well, have you ever met the creeper, Miss Winkler?
Please call me Miranda. No one ever calls me Miranda. I like the name Miranda. Your cousin had a pet name for me, but I didn't like it.
What was his pet name for you?
He called me Mouse.
Mouse?
Well, that's a pet name.
He used to make fun of me, but I didn't mind. I'm a timid person, shy and frightened of everything.
No one who's frightened of everything could live in this house.
Or work for a guy like Sebastian Sly.
To answer your question, Miss Whittle, I was never introduced to the creeper. I saw him once.
What did he look like?
I haven't any idea. The creeper always wore a mask, and your cousin always wore that handkerchief over his face.
Well, they sure had a lot in common.
Of course they did. They were both stark raving mad.
Miss Whittle, please.
Sorry.
Your rose hit, Miss Winkler.
Sorry to put you to any trouble, Mrs. Bones. I hate being a nuisance. I hate putting anyone to any inconvenience. I'll go back to the library so I won't disturb anyone. I'll be as quiet as a
Mouse.
I was going to say as quiet as a whisper in a tune.
What an odd little person.
She worshipped Sebastian Sly, but he took no notice.
You mean Miss Winkler had eyes for cousin Sebastian?
I spoke out of turn.
Well, what do you know? Miranda was a Sebastian Sly groupie.
Oh, don't you make fun of her. She seems so vulnerable.
I do hope you'll forgive me. I should have introduced myself long before this. I'm Velma Cringe. The Velma Cringe.
And
I know who you are. You're Kit Whittle, Sebastian's cousin. And Joy Lilac Cooper. I never knew Sebastian had any living relatives. He never spoke of any. Do sit down. Don't deny it. You're both wondering why I live here at the Shadows.
not
No.
So I'll tell you. I don't suppose you ever saw me on the stage.
Not really.
You don't know what you missed. It was I, Velma Cringe, who gave Sebastian his greatest triumph, his only New York success. It's murder.
Easy, Miss Cringe.
Why did you scream?
I was the best screamer who ever existed. Alas, now my screams are only shadows of what they once were.
Well, it sounded loud enough.
Plenty loud.
A good scream is more than being loud. Anyone can scream loud, but Velma Cringe screamed with authority. I only wish you could have heard me when I was younger, when my vocal cords were at full strength.
Well, that's the breaks.
I was featured in all of Sebastian Sly's thrillers. True, It's a Murder was my most celebrated role, but who could forget Velma Cringe and Sebastian Sly's Dial M for Morose, Velma Cringe and Sebastian Sly's The Cat and the Canard, Velma Cringe and Sebastian Sly's 10 Little Ninjas.
I've never heard of any of those plays.
Small wonder. And who, Miss Whittle, do we have to thank for that?
I give up.
Who? Sylvia Fry, that's who.
Who?
Sylvia Fry, the so-called drama critic. A most influential force when it comes to stage mysteries, thrillers, and whodunits. She is the reason you've never heard of Dial M for Morose, The Cat and the Canard, and 10 Little Ninjas.
Oh, I get it. So she panned the shows.
She did not pan the shows, Miss Whittle. She destroyed the shows. She's the reason Dial M for Morose, The Cat and the Canard, and 10 Little Ninjas never made it to New York.
Well, where did they go?
They didn't go anywhere. They died on the road. Died never to rise again. People started to say that I was the reason. I was bad luck. Put Velma Cringe in a mystery, and before you knew it, you went broke. What producer would take a chance? Sebastian withdrew here to the shadows and offered me sanctuary. I shall be forever grateful to your cousin. Would you like to hear another scream?
No,
Thank
no.
you.
We don't want to tire you out.
It's no trouble. I like to stay in practice.
Well, maybe later.
As you wish. Now I think I'd like to gurgle some honey with lemon.
Honey and lemon. Yes, yes. Good idea.
I do hope you'll let me remain here as an unpaying guest, for old time's sake.
Do you think we're at the wrong shadows?
The thought has crossed my mind.
Miss Parr has arrived.
Oh, good.
Terrible weather, isn't it?
Not if you like drizzle and fog.
And damp.
Kit Whittle, correct?
Right the first time.
And Lilac Cooper. What a lovely name, Lilac.
A brandy, Miss Parr,
At this hour? I should say not.
to ward off the chill.
Nothing.
Will you be staying the night?
Yes.
Luggage?
Small bag in the back seat.
I'll attend to it.
Always the perfect butler.
We're glad to see you, Miss Parr.
Anything wrong?
Well, the shadows, it isn't exactly what we expected.
Scary old place, isn't it?
To say the least.
I don't understand why the will has to be read at midnight.
Sounds like hocus pocus, I know. But at the firm, we try to give our clients what they want.
Dead or alive.
Exactly.
And at midnight? Why'd you tell Lilac and I to be here so early last night?
I said nothing about showing up at midnight.
Well, here, I'll prove it.
Let me see that.
What's wrong with the lights?
The storm must have done some damage.
The lines are probably down. It happens all the time out here. This is a complete mystery to me. This is the firm stationery, but this is not the letter I mailed you, Ms. Whittle.
I got the same letter Kit did.
I know what I signed, and this is not it. Somebody has tried to copy my signature and done a terrible job of it.
Oh! What? There's someone at the door! The Creeper!
Hope I didn't scare anyone.
You did?
Who are you?
Graves, Deputy Graves. Skull and Bones know me. I'm from the village.
The creeper.
We thought Deputy Graves might have been the creeper.
He's on the loose.
That's why I cut across field. Came straight from the shadows.
The other shadows.
We caught the creeper. Nothing to worry about.
Oh, that's a relief.
Thought you people would want to know.
You betcha.
A million thanks.
I'll show you to your room now, Mrs. Parr.
He's back under lock and key, Skull, the creeper.
See that he stays there. Go into the kitchen and get yourself a cup of coffee for your troubles.
Don't mind if I do. We're in for another big storm.
May I keep this letter, Ms. Whittle?
Kit will do me, but sure, keep the letter.
And I'd like to see your letter too, Miss Cooper.
Sure, it's up in my room.
Something very peculiar about this.
Anything having to do with my late cousin is peculiar.
Come along, Miss Parr. I'll get that letter.
I better take deadly doses back where it belongs. Oh, Miss Parr,
Yes?
do you happen to know the cause of Sebastian Sly's death?
You don't know?
No.
He was poisoned.
Who left that open? Someone's been tracking more mud in on my floor.
Yoo-hoo! Mrs. Bones? Mrs. Bones?
What does she want? More honey and lemon, I suppose.
Anything is possible. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. If only Sebastian were alive.
Get a hold of yourself, Miss Cringe. What will the others think, muttering and whimpering?
Have you seen Mrs. Bones?
Not since this morning, no.
Something's happened to her.
What's happened to her?
I'd rather not say.
She probably just went to town.
Without telling you, that isn't like her. No, Skull, she didn't go into town.
She'll turn up in her own good time.
I hope. Why the candelabrum?
A nice touch, I think. I thought for the reading of the will it would lend mood.
Almost midnight.
Miss Cooper,
Uh-huh.
have you seen Mrs. Bones?
No, I haven't.
Is Miss Whittle coming down?
She'll be along.
I'll fetch Miss Parr. It's time.
Listen,
How curious.
It's the grandfather's clock in the front hallway.
It couldn't be the grandfather's clock. Everything inside's all twisted and broken.
You're not serious.
What is it you're trying to say?
I'm counting the bongs.
Midnight.
The clock struck 13.
That wouldn't be possible.
13, I tell you!
I'll see about this.
You've been on edge all evening.
There's strangers in the house. I'm not used to strangers in the house.
Whatever you say.
It's only me. I hope I'm not intruding.
Oh, not at all. Aren't you two the least bit excited?
About what?
The will.
I doubt if Mr. Sly has left anything to me. After all, I wasn't important in his life. I did my job as best as I could and was grateful for my small salary.
Stop it! Stop it!
Stop what, Velma?
Stop sounding like Uriah Heep.
Who's Uriah Heep?
A character from Charles Dickens.
Always pretending to be humble, always pretending to be insignificant.
But I am humble. I am insignificant.
Ugh. Come sit by me, Miranda. Oh, Miss Cringe?
Yes?
Miss Cringe, was my cousin Sebastian
Was your cousin Sebastian what?
murdered?
Murdered?
It couldn't have been the grandfather's clock. Everything in the clock is still all twisted and broken.
Well, we certainly heard some clock.
Who told you Sebastian was murdered?
Miss Parr.
You must have misunderstood her. Murdered? Imagine.
Huh.
She's here.
I'm afraid so.
Who's here?
The wicked witch.
Sylvia Fry.
Why's she here?
Nasty, vindictive, destructive. She once wrote that 10 Little Ninjas was suspiciously like Agatha Christie's 10 Little Indians. She said Sebastian wrote stage fillers with a pigeon feather dipped in old shoe polish.
Whenever your cousin heard her name, he frothed at the mouth.
At one time, she even had the effrontery to write that I screamed like an alley cat drowning in hot sauce.
Wow.
Miss Parr has arrived.
Just the sort of creepy dump Sebastian Sly would live in. Gloom, doom, dust.
How dare you?
Will you be staying the night?
Certainly I'm staying the night. Do you expect me to drive back to Manhattan in the dark? There's an overnight bag in my car. Don't stand there using up my oxygen! Go get it!
Very good, Miss Fry.
My, Velma Cringe. I often wondered what became of you.
After you denounced me in print, I couldn't find employment.
I did audiences a favor. You too, but I doubt you'd admit it.
I don't understand why Mr. Sly included you.
And who are you?
I'm nobody.
Well, hi, I'm somebody. I'm Kit Whittle, one of Sebastian's cousins. Another cousin, Lilac Cooper.
You two look fairly sane. Where's the telephone? Thank you. I suspect this is a joke, having me here. Would appeal to Sly's warped sense of humor.
Maybe he's left you something.
He's already given me the best gift he could. His death. No great loss. Sebastian Sly was a mediocre talent who was lucky enough to have one hit. It's murder. After that, he polluted the stage with cornball thrillers, idiotic murder melodramas, and dull crime plays. The world is better off without him. What's wrong with this phone? I took considerable pleasure in driving Sebastian Sly from the stage.
Creature.
Feeling the way you do about my cousin, why did you come here?
Curiosity. Partly. I figured my readers might be interested. I could get a column or two out of this adventure. But, that's not the main reason. This phone is definitely not working. What a nuisance.
What's the main reason?
I want a picture of Sebastian Sly. It's as simple as that. He always sent in a sketch of himself. There's not a book publisher, a newspaper, or a magazine that has a photo of Sebastian Sly.
Well, there's one on the wall.
Eureka!
I don't think it'll help you much. He's wearing a veil.
He felt having his picture taken would bring bad luck.
There has to be a clear picture somewhere in this house. I intend to find it.
I do hope that doesn't mean you intend to go growling about the premises. That would be vulgar.
The world has a right to know what Sebastian Sly looked like. And according to my watch, it's past midnight. Where's Miss Parr?
Coming. I'm late, sorry. Where's Mrs. Bones?
Missing since morning.
I'm Sylvia Fry.
How do you do?
Nicely. Skull!
I'm here, Miss Parr.
If you're all ready, let's get started. Skull, would you put this somewhere?
I thought it would lend mood.
Sebastian loved candelabrum.
Another decrepit prop from Sebastian Sly's dusty trunk of theatrical rubbish.
I think you're all aware that reading a will in this manner is unorthodox. At one time, wills were read to concerned parties, but times have changed considerably.
Is his name really Skull?
Yes.
All right.
I'll begin. I, Sebastian Montrose Sly, being of sound mind,
Sound mind? That's a good one. His mind was pickled in dreck.
and not acting under duress or undue circumstances, do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament.
You've got to stop coming in this way.
It's for your own good. Oh, begging your pardon, folks. Didn't know you was having a party. What's wrong this time? Bad news. He's done it again.
The creeper?
Creeper. Don't know how he does it, but he does. Any of you seen him?
No. Who, may I ask, is the creeper?
An escaped lunatic.
From the asylum across the field. I already called the sheriff's office. I advise one and all to be on guard. Eyes open, ears ready for any strange sounds. When the creeper creeps, you never know what to expect.
When the creeper creeps.
I do apologize. Ralph seems to think she can just push her way in at all hours.
Under the circumstances, I'll cut to the heart of the will.
Good.
Fine by me.
Let's hear it.
The bulk of the estate, this house, the stocks and bonds, and assorted holdings are to be equally divided between you, Ms. Whittle, and you, Ms. Cooper. Neither one of you will ever have to work if you choose not to.
Wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful.
There are some small additional beholdings to the staff.
How generous of Mr. Sly. I don't deserve anything.
What about me? What's in the will for Sylvia?
Mr. Sly added a codicil just before his death. You are to receive the future royalties from his plays.
I don't believe it. But I thought Cousin Sebastian hated Sylvia Fry.
I always like to think so.
There is one more significant paragraph.
Oh, great. I knew it was too good to be true. Here it comes.
My named relatives
That's us.
will be required to remain at the shadows for 24 hours. If, during that time, either one of them shows signs of mental instability, her share of the inheritance is to be divided among those named below. He then goes on to name the staff, Skull and Bones, Miss Winkler, and he includes you, Velma Cringe.
I'm not sure I understand this.
He was afraid insanity ran in the family.
Oh, with good reason.
Any questions?
I've prepared a light dinner. Creamed chicken over toast tips.
I'm famished. I hope you choke. I like you too.
Imagine Mr. Sly mentioning me in the will. I don't deserve it. No, I don't deserve it.
You think I could take a look at the will, Miss Parr?
I don't see why not. We can go over any minor details in the morning.
Well, here it is. If during that time either one of them shows signs of mental instability, her share of the inheritance is to be divided among those named below.
Did he mention anything about that paragraph before his death?
Oh, we never met him.
Never met him.
Lilac and I met for the first time last night.
I wouldn't be worried about it. Sebastian was always including a paragraph like that in his plays. The heroine, that's you, Miss Cooper, and you, Miss Whittle, are terrorized by the other heirs. I must say, he died with his boots on, a hack to the end.
Wait a minute. I got a crazy idea.
Don't say crazy. We'll lose the money.
What if Cousin Sebastian really isn't dead? What if he's just playing funny games?
He's dead.
How can you be sure?
I never leave anything to chance. I called the local mortuary. I spoke with the driver. Sebastian Sly was cremated. I don't know who may be playing games, Miss Whittle, but it's not Sebastian Sly. You have my word on that.
She is one cold lady.
Kid, what if the others can prove that we're...
Bonkers? Not a chance. We won't give them a chance. We're gonna go straight to our rooms and we're gonna lock the doors for 24 hours.
Well, that's idiotic.
Think of the clamshell, the beauty spot.
Oh, no!
Don't tell any of the